Hello and welcome back to Great Military Feats. In today's video, we are discovering the story of the march of 10,000 Greek mercenaries through the Middle East. Before we get into that, I'd like to ask you all to subscribe to this new channel and to comment any video suggestions down below. But without further ado, let's get into the important stuff. The March of 10,000 Greek hoplites is an epic story of brave men who, after victory in a lost war, had to travel through hostile territory to reach home. First things first, we need to know some context behind this journey. The March of 10,000 Greek hoplites is one of the most extraordinary adventures not only from the ancient world, but the whole of human history. It is an epic tale of 10,000, mostly Greek mercenaries who in the Persian Civil War fought on the side of Cyrus the Younger against his brother and ruler of the Achaemenid Empire, Artaxerxes the Second. After Cyrus perished in the Battle of Cunaxa, the Greeks lost their paymaster and patron, finding themselves stranded deep in enemy territory. To reach their distant home, these soldiers had to march across barren, waterless steppes and through snow-blocked mountain passes. On their nearly 5,000 km, 3,100 miles, long odyssey, these soldiers had to fight all sorts of enemies, from Persian armies to mountain warbands. The epic tale of the 10,000 begins in 401 BCE. After a months-long journey, in the late summer of 401 BCE, the 10,000 and their commander, the Spartan general Clearchus, reached the outskirts of Babylon, one of the capitals of the Persian Empire. It was not a peaceful journey. In a desperate attempt to face his brother's army before it is fully mobilized, Cyrus forced his troops to carry out a swift and arduous march. Thus, his army was plagued by infighting, desertions, and constant supply issues. Yet, the 10,000 made it across Anatolia and entered Mesopotamia, the heart of the Achaemenid Empire. By now, it became apparent to the Greeks that Cyrus's real intentions were not to eradicate the bandit threat, but to confront the full might of the Persian army. But it was too late to retreat. So after Cyrus promised to increase their pay further, the 10,000 took their places, preparing to confront the 40,000 strong army of the King of Kings Artaxerxes. The Battle of Cunaxa was a bloody and messy affair. Although vastly outnumbered, the 10,000 proved their mettle by charging and routing the Persians facing them. However, while the Greeks scored a significant victory, they lost the war. After seeing his brother on the field, Cyrus attempted to win a swift victory by charging directly at Artaxerxes, wounding him in the chest. However, Cyrus's gamble backfired after a lone javelin hit him in the eye, ending his dreams of power as well as his life. Cyrus the Younger's death made his army leaderless, resulting in a complete rout. However, while most rebels fled the battlefield or died trying, the 10,000 held firm. With Cyrus dead, the expedition was now pointless, and the 10,000 were stranded in the middle of Mesopotamia without allies or a purpose. For the Persians, a large and well-trained mercenary army in the heart of their empire presented a huge problem. So they decided to use a ruse to eliminate the potential threat. When the Persian satrap, governor, called Tissaphernes, offered the Greeks supplies and promised to lead them back home, they accepted. But the satrap had a different plan in mind. He invited the Greek senior officers, including the Spartan commander Clearchus, to a feast where they were taken prisoner, led before the king, and executed. Once again, the 10,000 lost their leader. However, instead of a quick surrender, the Greeks elected new leaders, including an Athenian called Xenophon. It was Xenophon who proposed to the war council to immediately set off northwards towards the Black Sea and friendly territories. It was a long and arduous journey. Soon after the Greeks began marching north, Persian archers and cavalry attacked the rear guard. The Persian mastery of horsemanship and bow and arrow was impossible to match, and it became the bane of all future invaders, including the legions of Rome. Yet time and again, the 10,000 demonstrated the ingenuity of the best military the Greek world had to offer. To increase their mobility and flexibility, the Greeks changed their order of march, forming smaller units. After the Greeks entered the northern reaches of the Zagros Mountains, the Persians turned back, but this gave little respite to the beleaguered warriors. In the area of Cordueni, present-day southeastern Turkey, the 10,000 had to confront the warlike Carduchians, who rebelled against the Persians but also considered the Greeks a threat. The new enemy cast down boulders and rained down arrows on the exposed columns. Once again, the Greeks adapted, splitting their forces and using the cover of darkness to hide their movements. Advancing hill to hill, the smaller elite units hit the isolated enemy formations, while the main column slowly snaked through the mountain passes. However, despite all their efforts, the 10,000 almost suffered complete annihilation after entering Armenian territory. Now they confronted two hostile forces, the pursuing Carduchians in their rear and the army of Armenian satrap in front, which denied the Greeks passage over the Centrites River. Once again, Greek ingenuity saved the group from certain defeat. Xenophon's rear guard made a feint attack against the Armenians downriver, while the army's main body, led by the Spartan Cyrus, moved to cross the upper ford. The Armenians responded by sending most of their forces to confront Xenophon, allowing Cyrus to cross the river. But while the brave Greeks managed to outrun and outmaneuver their enemies, the worst was yet to come: the winter in the Armenian highlands. Here, the 10,000 had to confront another treachery, but also fight against the elements, most notably heavy snowfall and sub-zero temperatures. Unsurprisingly, the Greeks managed to overcome both. After months of trekking through snowy mountains and numerous causalities lost to hostile attacks, starvation, and frostbite, Xenophon managed to bring his army to the Black Sea coast. Upon seeing the waves, the soldiers cried out the immortal words, "Thalata! Thalata! The sea! The sea!" One can only imagine the joy of the exhausted but still resilient warriors as they ran forward, driving horses and baggage animals at full speed. The surreal nature of the scene became even more potent after the rearguard, assuming that the enemy had attacked the column's front, rushed forward with cavalry to offer support. But there was no enemy in sight. Instead, the officers could see only a vast expanse of water and stalwart soldiers. The battle-hardened veterans embraced each other, crying tears of joy. Here at the shores of the Black Sea, the 10,000 found their road home. That's all for today, folks. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time for another great military feat.